Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for May 30th, 2021, with your host, Peaceburger244H and Rumpet Epsilon.
Hello.
We got really good episodes of Beast Wars to talk about. And by episodes, I mean one episode at least. Because, I'm sure that last episode of this batch is complicated. Is the simple word of putting it.
Is that the word we're going with?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure what other word to apply to it.
It's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing of an episode that I don't know what to do with the episode, to be honest.
I mean, fair.
Yeah. But yeah, it is episodes 33 through 36, which is season 2, episodes 7 through 10. We are on the cusp of the finale of season 2 next week, which will take us into our final season, which hopefully the show lasts long enough for when we get to Rider Week, and hopefully we'll have Ryuki to talk about.
Hopefully. Maybe.
I hope. Or else I'm gonna have to think of something really short for us to do for like 2 months. We just watch random Rider movies for like 2 weeks.
As long as it's not a Tyson, fine.
I
just made a problem, didn't I?
Okay, what if we did all the winter crossover movies? Question mark? Because we've done 2 of them? 3 of them. Right?
I don't even remember.
We've done Megamax, and we've done Core. We haven't done Ultimatum. Yeah, we haven't done Ultimatum, have we? When we did Forze.
I don't remember. I feel like no, but at the same time, I'm like, maybe?
Where are my notes? Oh, fuck's sakes. Well, those are all of my Forza episodes. Where are my Forza notes? Okay, not there. Fantastic.
I'm starting to feel like maybe the idea of us having a list of all of this somewhere was a smarter idea.
I mean, we had it until we relaunched the show, and then we didn't have it anymore. And then we didn't... Well, we didn't... It's not like we didn't have it anymore, we forgot to write it down.
Yep.
Because we had everything until we relaunched the show.
And we also had everything until I redid the site. When we kind of moved away from that forum post that we had, yeah, we kind of quit.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I will
I have a thought.
What?
I remember which folder the notes are in. There we go. I am going to make a document there. And I will come back to that later, actually. But I'm gonna fill it in with everything that we've done that is at least documented. And then I'll kind of have to rely on you making sure that you've still got the notes and go from there.
I know I have the notes. I just have to find them on one of the.
Yeah.
Like 4 hard drives I own.
I mean, it could be worse.
Because I have, I believe it's like 3 external, or no. Okay, it's 4 externals, but one of them's empty. I know that because I replaced it. And then the hard drive on my computer. I really need to get another hard drive for my computer itself and slam it in there. I had that conversation with him. I had the conversation with Bob the other day. It's like, I really need another hard drive because the whole situation with Power Rangers and Netflix and all that made me go, you know, I should probably just have all the Power Rangers available to me if we ever want to do it. Or if I ever want to watch it. But that's a lot of hard drive space to hold all that.
I mean, fair.
And also maybe get all of Shout Factory's Super Sentai DVDs, because who knows if those will go poof one day. And maybe I should just have all these just so we have the artifact of all the Sentai, this artifact of history, if they do. So yeah. I've thought about getting like a 3 terabyte or something hard drive. But I have to find out what my hard drive is to start with on my computer. Which, I don't need like the exact model, right?
I don't know, actually. Sorry, I was not paying full attention there. Run that again?
You don't need the exact model of hard drive if you want to do a second one in your computer, right?
No, as long as you know what kind of, like, what type it is, kind of deal.
Right.
If it's a SATA or not and all that fun jazz. That's wrong.
And you have...
That's the wrong button.
And if you've got, like, the rack space in your computer built in and you have a slot on the motherboard to plug into...
Yeah.
I've read a little bit up on it, but not super whole lot.
I mean, ideally, you could find out all that information based off of the hard drive you already got.
Right.
So...
I was just thinking, get a 3 terabyte, have that be... I don't know if I want to go through the process of changing over everything on my external into this internal hard drive so I don't have an external plugged in forever again. Because that means I'd have to install Steam again. And all the stuff on Steam again. And all my games on Epic, because that's all installed on the external. I have to go through the process of making that all function again on a different hard drive. That was not fun last time I did it. Or, well, the last 2 times I've done that. But anyway, that is all stuff for the future. Beast Wars now, with the episodes. How'd you feel going into them?
I mean, kind of the same way I've been feeling going into them.
Yeah. it doesn't help that we kind of have a standard episode after our second part of a two-parter. And then our third episode doesn't feel like it's going to be that big of a deal, and then it just kind of turns into that big of a deal by the end. Because the writers decided to go hard on that episode. So, shall we get started on the recaps?
I guess so.
Alright, episode 33 then. Other Visits, Part 2. So, our big wave from the end of last week's episode has only knocked out the non-transmetal / the non-fusor people because...
Fusors are transmetal too, I guess.
I guess because they're fusors and they're mixes of stuff, it doesn't count. So, yeah, most of the Predacons are knocked out except for Megs, Tarantulas, and Quick Strike. And the only Maximals that are up and running are Primal, Cheetor, Rat Trap, and Silverbolt. But the Predacons end up working their way into the base, or working their way into the dome, and shutting out the Maximals with the web, which prompts Primal and Rat Trap to order Cheetor and Silverbolt to evac the Maximals, or evac Dinobot and Rhinox since they're out. And they try to break in themselves with bombs, because that's pretty much Rat Trap's only plan for breaking into somewhere.
I mean, yeah.
Inside, Quick Strike is used to check for traps by kicking him into the main room, which, no trap. And that is because transmetal bodies and fusor bodies make it seem like they're one of the aliens, I guess. Or they have some trace of the aliens in them that makes it to where we won't blow you up, I guess. So they end up turning on the control console for the discs, and Megatron slots the alien disc in and gets a nice little shock for his troubles. And this is when Primal and Rat Trap try to break in, and Quick Strike and Tarantulas try to stop them outside. But the shock stops on Megatron, and he gets his fancy new chair, which he hops in, and it gives him complete control of the dome. So he shoots down Primal and Rat Trap, and captures everybody but Rat Trap in a force field, or in like this tractor beam, because Rat Trap was standing behind a rock, which is the only reason he didn't. But he gets the other Predacons up and running, shoots Tarantulas off into a corner, and then pulls everybody plus Primal inside because they got business to do. Tarantulas, rightly pissed off by all of this, points a gun at Rat Trap, and then we cut away back to Maximal Base. Or we cut to the pod later, or the dome later, where they got Primal strung up, and Megs has Waspinator and Inferno get stuff from Predacon Base for the big plan. But now we cut the Maximal Base, where Rat Trap and Tarantulas come in, and Tarantulas is like, I want to help you find the base, because fuck Megatron, he's an asshole. And everyone's like, I don't know, we should probably shoot him. But they eventually decide, we'll shoot him later. And let him find the dome on top of some mountain somewhere. But Primal wakes up back at the dome, and we find out that Megatron's plan is to hook up a bunch of transwarp cells to this big alien dome thing and drive it to Cybertron, and I guess take over the world with what this thing is capable of doing, I guess. I don't know how much more of the plan entails besides drive it to Cybertron and shoot something. I'm not sure.
Not shoot something, shoot everything.
True. Even the aliens, if they decide to show up and want their property back.
Because they totally won't have a way to combat that.
Right. But at this point, the Maximals attack, and this distracts all of the Predacons except Megatron to pull them outside for the fight, and gives Rat Trap and Tarantulas the opportunity to sneak in. Inside, Rat Trap frees Primal. Primal and Megs tussle for a bit, while Tarantulas just sets the transwarp cells to explode. Because fuck this. I'm blowing it up and I'm leaving, and if any of you die, that's just a bonus. Because he does this and fucking leaves and doesn't even tell anyone what the plan is. Everyone else has to go, oh no, and leave. So everyone runs. The dome gets teleported into space and then explodes before it gets to the alien, like, warp hole, wormhole thing. And the Maximals are like, well, crisis averted, but we're still down Tigertron and Air Razor. So, not a complete win. Which takes us to episode 34, Bad Spark. So, we're off in a fog-covered forest where Cheetor finds a stasis pod with a big old X marked on it. And Primal is like, sit tight, we're gonna be there in a second, and take Silverbolt with him. And Rhinox is even like, God, I hope that thing's dead. Which, probably not a good sign when they have decided, no, we rather hope that the person in the stasis pod is dead, rather than alive. But Megatron spots this as well, and he sends Black Arachnia and Waspinator to go investigate it, and slips a comm on Black Arachnia, and also has a thing that tells, like, Tarantulas what's happening, or lets him spy on this conversation. I assume that's Megatron's, right? That's underneath his armchair.
That one I don't know. That one might be Tarantulas's.
But like, Megs knows it's there, right?
Maybe. I mean, I'm sure he doesn't inspect his chair.
True. But anyway, Tarantulas tries to go intercept them because he wants the information that's in Black Arachnia's head, because that's plot important for next week. But we get to the crash site, and Primal tells us, yeah, Protoform X, which is what this Protoform is in the stasis pod, was an attempt by the Maximals to replicate Starscream's immortal spark, and it didn't go well, so we locked it in the stasis pod, welded the door shut, and we're going to shove this thing on a barren planet and never come back.
Except what they could have done could have been, shove it into the sun.
A sun, mind you.
I mean,
like, you could have shoved it in a sun, you could have shoved it in a black hole. Why did you not... Was it supposed to be mercy that you're going to just dump it on a barren planet?
Maybe.
You were hoping it was dead. Were you wanting it dead, but not by your hand?
That.
Of course. But it seems like the Protoform has died, and that's when the Predacons attack, trying to claim it, and Primal's like, this guy's dead. I don't know why we're fighting. And the Predacons are like, we still want it! And continue to fight. And there's also a fart joke in here with Cheetor, because I don't know why. There just is. But essentially, Energon gets built up in the pod and in the area. And when Tarantula shows up and tries to interrogate Black Arachnia. Silverbolt fights him and knocks him into the stasis pod, and it causes the Energon to release into an Energon storm that pulls everybody into a tornado and sends them elsewhere into the forest. But Silverbolt and Black Arachnia get thrown together. Cheetor and Primal get thrown together, and Tarantulas gets thrown on his own, and Waspinator is not seen for the rest of the episode. Pretty much. Because I guess no one's worried about Waspinator.
That or everyone just decided to say, what's a Waspinator?
Also fair. So we follow Black Arachnia and Silverbolt as they are both heavily damaged, but strike up a truce because let's not kill each other, I guess, and get to a mountain so we can phone our bases for pickup and then leave. So they do so, and we check in with Tarantulas as he finds the pod empty and is attacked by an unknown person who is totally not Protoform X. Spoilers, it is Protoform X. But we check in with Primal and Cheetor real quick as they're also damaged, and they begrudgingly retreat for now to get repaired to then come back and try to find Silverbolt. And that is when we pick up with Silverbolt and Black Arachnia as they find Tarantulas' arm just hanging in a tree. And Silverbolt cracks a joke about Tarantulas being disarmed, and they have a laugh about it. And Megatron and the other Predacons just don't like it. They are incredibly annoyed by these two cracking jokes. What spoils sports? But the two of them find a log bridge. Silverbolt tries to cross it, only to be attacked by a saber-tooth, or only for Black Arachnia to be attacked by a saber-toothed tiger while trying to shoot Silverbolt in the back. Silverbolt ends up fighting it off a cliff and falls off the cliff, and Black Arachnia ends up dragging him up because, I don't know, you're a meat shield if shit shows up. Meanwhile, Primal and Cheetor get repaired and head out, even though Dinobot's like, we should attack them because they're down 2 people and we're only down 1, and Primal's like, we're going back for Silverbolt? You're lucky I would actually go find you in something like this? Shut up. And then Dinobot downloads a thing from the Axelon's hard drives, I guess. I don't know what Dinobot does at this point in relation to what happens next time, in the next episode. I honestly don't know. I don't think it's ever brought up again. Anyway, Silverbolt then, as we're following the pair, tries to win over Black Arachnia and only gets shot at for his efforts, and he's just like, alright, I'll shut up. I like that he knows after a point of just like, okay, maybe I should try to stop trying to do the Boy Scout routine with her, because it's not going to work. Like it would work with anybody on this show, to be honest.
I mean, to be fair though, it's not a routine.
Yeah, that's just who he is.
Yep.
Look, Silverbolt, you are the nicest person on this cast. Literally everyone would take someone else's head off, except you. But the two of them find Tarantulas' body in stasis lock and mangled and torn apart in pieces, which makes them both realize, oh fuck, we're not alone. And this is when Silverbolt's like, yeah, this is Protoform X. And this is when Megatron's like, someone that's crazy, psychotic, and has an immortal spark. Computer, I need a knife. So this is when Protoform X shows up as Big Giant Crab Man, or Big Giant Crab, and knocks them both away, and eventually picks up Silverbolt and starts crushing him in his claw. But this is when Primal and Cheetor show up. The two of them knock Protoform X away and try to shoot him off a cliff, which Black Arachnia actually joins in because, fuck that, I want it dead. And they do knock it off a cliff, only for it to transform into its tank mode. Because, by the way, this Protoform is a transmetal crab. Because, you know those rules about the quantum surge? They don't fully apply here. Yeah, those rules, they don't apply half the time sometimes. But it tries to come back up, but Silverbolt launches a well-placed missile that sends it further down the cliff off into the fog. But a stray shot knocks Black Arachnia off the cliff, and Silverbolt saves her, but she grapples away like, I didn't need to be saved, and just fucks off and leaves. And the Maxwells do too, because it's probably dead, right? We probably shouldn't go down there and just nuke the damn thing to make sure. So, this is when Megatron shows up with his fancy Energon knife and carves out Protoform X's spark and puts it into a clamp full of Energon crystals that he can squeeze to cause this thing pain to keep it in line. And now Protoform X is Rampage. What the fuck? Like, I will reiterate that for those that missed it. For those that don't quite have that sunk in yet. Megatron carved out Rampage's spark, which is essentially a Transformer heart, and now has it in a clamp that he can squeeze and cause him pain. That's fucked up. And this is a kid show. And that's fucked up. But yeah, our episode ends there. So how'd you feel about these two episodes? Mm-hmm. Like, the second part was fine. I kind of like this second episode because of where we go with Black Arachnia later, but otherwise, hey, here's another Transformer on the Predacon side who is not is not here by choice. But what do you think?
I feel like I see where they're wanting to go with Black Arachnia, but I think this was a test the water concept.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, a couple of good episodes right there. I really feel like the next episode that we're going to be talking about is kind of the one that kind of draws for the whole batch here, though.
Yeah, I'm willing to say this next episode is the best of the batch and probably one of the best of the show. Shall we get into it?
I guess so.
All right, episode 35, Code of Hero. So we start in a forest where a proto-human, I think they technically are anthropoids, is what they're named in show. I don't know if that's accurate or not. They're early humans for the purposes of this episode. Two of them are attacked by a snake. And then we cut to Dinobot in his room, which I forgot to mention because it's been on screen several times, but I keep forgetting to mention it, even though we've gotten shots of it. There's this skin that is on his wall, and it suspiciously looks like the coloring of his beast mode. Did he skin his clone and now has it hung up on his wall?
I didn't pay attention to that part of it, but that wouldn't surprise me.
I know. I've seen it several times. I keep forgetting to put it in the notes, and this is the last chance I get to do this. So I'm like, Dinobot, did you skin your clone after you murdered it and ate it and have it hung up on your wall? Did anyone ask where that came from? Anyway, Dinobot is considering his recent actions involving the discs, and because of the bad choices he's made, he's decided to attempt suicide by stabbing himself in the chest with his sword. Which, okay, that's a dark place to start this episode. But he doesn't go through with it, and this is when we cut over to Rhinox, who asks Primal, hey, do you remember that transwarp explosion? And Primal just gives him a look like, uh-huh. And I love that Rhinox is just like, yeah, I know, stupid question, but he explains that the explosion is cascading through time at an exponential rate, and whatever the fuck a decacycle is, it will be that long until it hits Cybertron, and then I guess the Maximal Command will know that something is up, and they will send people to investigate. So, backup's on the way, presumably at some point in the near future. And they also figure that Megatron has also figured out the exact same thing, and they're putting the base on high alert, because they're going to expect an attack, which is not what he's going to do. So we catch up with Dinobot as he's leaving his room and runs into Rat Trap, and the two of them share their usual like back and forth thing, but Dinobot's not really in the mood for it, and even takes what Rat Trap says about, you know, swapping sides, giving away the golden disc a bit personal, and decides, I fucked up. I need to unfuck my fuck up. So he takes a gun and leaves the base to someplace unknown. But we check in with Cheetor first, as he spots Megatron and Rampage near that forest from earlier. The two of them shoot at Cheetor. Cheetor calls in. Dinobot receives it and tells him to report back to base for now, because he'll investigate it. And I love that in the last scene and in this scene, Dinobot cocks the gun, which seems unnecessary. Like, you've cocked it once, Dinobot. Why are you cocking it again? Why? Wouldn't that mess up something? But at this point, we follow Dinobot as he manages to intercept Tarantulas from getting his dinner, which is an actual just regular antelope, because as a reminder, Tarantulas eats people. Because Tarantulas. But he wants to know where the golden disc is, and Tarantulas tells him Megs has it, and there's no more backups, just the original human golden disc, or, well, Autobot golden disc, technically. But Megatron is miles away, so Dinobot's like, well, you're driving me there, so get in your vehicle mode and drive, or I put a hole in you. But back with Megatron and Rampage, Megatron has Rampage blow up a mountain that's nearby that is recorded on the golden disc. And when he does, the mountain changes to being its destroyed form on the golden disc, which confirms to both him and the nearby Dinobot that, oh fuck, the future can be changed. Oh no. And guess what? We're nearby. Where humans come from. Guess what Megatron's next plan is. So Dinobot tries to call this in. Tarantula shoots him. Dinobot squishes him under some rocks and then gets the call in. But by that point, all the Predacons have arrived and start attacking the forest and burning it and attempting to kill the proto-humans. Dinobot calls us in, tells him what's going on. Primal tells him to wait for backup, and Dinobot's like, fuck that. If I don't do something, we're fucked. so I'm going in. And bear in mind, Dinobot is already injured from Tarantula shooting him. And now Dinobot is facing the entirety of the Predacons alone. So at this point, the Maximals try to rush in, but they are way behind and will not get there in time. As we now follow Dinobot as he chips away at the Predacons more or less 2x2. So he fights Inferno and Black Arachnia first, takes them out, but gets shot and damaged. Then he fights Waspinator and Rampage, gets shot again, but takes them out and gets exploded. At this point, he's pretty well damaged. Megatron sees him, sends in Quick Strike, and decides, I'm going to further up my odds, and eyeballs a couple of proto-humans to take hostage. So, Dinobot and Quick Strike fight. Dinobot's down all his weapons, and has to fight Quick Strike hand-to-hand, but does take him down. But at this point, his system starts shutting down and tries to put him in stasis lock. Dinobot refuses, and is warned that if he does, he will die, and still does. So, Dinobot is past the safety point that has been used all season. Bear that in mind. At this point, Megatron shows up to be like, "Oh, hey, Dinobot, how's it going? I see you're injured. So, do you want to talk?" So Dinobot tries to attack him, but Megatron's like, "I have a hostage." But Dinobot's like, "Fuck that," and tries to use a stick to take out Megatron. And of course, it doesn't work because it's a stick. What is a stick going to do against a robot? Except Dinobot figures, well, if a stick doesn't work, what about a rock? So he slams the stick on a rock to embed it on the stick, creating a hammer, and then he smacks Megatron with it with one good hit, knocks him down, frees the proto-human, and knocks away the golden disc, which Dinobot catches, and with the last bit of energy he has, blasts it with his energy lasers, shattering the disc. At this point, he collapses. And this is when the Maximals finally arrive. They spot the Preds. They run them off, put the fire out in the forest. But they're too late to save Dinobot. He is dying. So the lot of them gather around. And I would like to note two very specific people in this scene. Cheetor, who is kneeling next to Dinobots on one side, and Rat Trap, who is doing the same on the other side, but is holding Dinobot's hand the entire time. If you didn't believe that Rat Trap gave a shit about Dinobot, this scene tells you otherwise. He incredibly cares for Dinobot. But we get some final words from Dinobot as he just tells them to tell his tale truthfully, with both the good and bad he's done, and that everything else can be forgotten. And he goes offline, and his spark leaves his body to join the Matrix. And specifically, Rat Trap is the first one to salute him as this happens. Everyone else follows after Rat Trap. But we end the episode with Dinobot getting a funeral. His body is cremated as half the Maximals do a flyover, and Rat Trap and Rhinox are the ones to do the actual cremation. And what is a really good episode, but a really dumb thing, did you notice the animation error?
No.
Rat Trap's in his original form at the console.
Whoops.
It also doesn't help that I believe him, Rhinox, and that console are a still image. They're not animated at all.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's kind of an infamous animation error of just like, how the fuck does Rat Trap in his original form in this fucking scene? God damn it.
Very carefully. See, it's time travel.
Fair.
What's funny is that actually could work.
Yeah. Well, the episode proper ends with that same proto-human from the beginning of the episode finding Dinobot's hammer, finding out it can crack a coconut, and it can crack a snake's skull. So, therefore, Dinobot taught humans how to defend themselves, I guess. I don't know what we're supposed to take away from that, but that's how the episode ends. Which, do you want to just talk about this episode now before we get into this last episode?
I mean, it's whichever.
Alright, we'll get this last episode out of the way, and then we'll probably talk mostly about this first one. So, episode 36, Transmutate. So, Rampage attempts to steal his spark back from Megatron and fails and gets hurt, shocked, whatever the fuck you want to call having his spark squeezed. But we check in with Rat Trap, Silverbolt, and Cheetor as they are in an area looking for a Predacon jammer in an area full of earthquakes. Seeing this, Megatron deploys Inferno and Rampage to find them. And we check in with the Maxwell base as we find out that the earthquakes are worsening, and Primal heads out to get his team back because I'm not losing anybody else today. After he has lost 3 people over the course of 3 episodes. I'm pretty sure he's had enough of people dying on his team. But in the earthquakes, Rat Trap ends up on a platform with no escape, and Cheetor has to save him. But both of them get hit by a pink glow of energy from a nearby stasis pod that has been revealed by the earthquake. Megatron detects this, sends Inferno to go grab it, which Rampage follows after because fuck orders, which is fair. At this point, Silverbolt spots Inferno and heads after him as well. So everyone kind of gathers at the pod and has a bit of a fight around it. With Inferno ending up on the losing end with Silverbolt as Rampage arrives. Silverbolt and Rampage kind of stare each other down as the pod explodes and out pops this person that I don't think has an official gender. So I'm going to use they because I don't know. So out pops Transmutate, who Rampage will call Transmutate before officially calling him Transmutate because somebody didn't proofread the script enough to.
Yes,
Technically.
that one.
Yeah. But everybody is very confused by this weird-looking robot person. And when Inferno pops back up to fight and accidentally shoots it, everybody gets hit by the pink energy thing, and only Rampage is the one is left standing out of everyone. So him and Transmutate leave to go talk while everyone recovers. But as the two of them are talking, or, well, Rampage is trying to get Transmutate to talk because Transmutate is their vocabulary is very limited. In a not really an I am Groot situation, more of a I don't know words situation. Inferno arrives with a phone call from Megatron, who inspects Transmutate and is like, this thing is scrap, kill it. And Rampage is like, no, it's powerful, let it help. Or let him help. And he's like, fine. So all three of them are sent after the Maximals. Which, at this point, Primal arrives to where the others are, tells Cheetor and Rattrap to head back to base for repairs, while him and Silverbolt go look. The two of them split up, and Silverbolt ends up fighting the Predacons first, but gets knocked out for his troubles. At this point, Primal manages to show up, knock out the Preds to save Silverbolt, but almost gets blasted by Transmutate, but Silverbolt talks them down, and then the two plus Primal leave, with Transmutate revealing that they can fly, because they always could? Question mark? But back in space, Transmutate scanned, and the conclusion is they're unstable, or their spark is unstable. There's a lot of energy to them. Kind of makes them very dangerous to themselves and others. We should probably put them on stasis lock for their own good. And Silverbolt disagrees with this because it thinks it's killing them. Silverbolt, that's not the point of stasis lock. Did you forget that? I am very confused by Silverbolt in this scene of like, why are you disagreeing? That's not murder. Like, right? Am I the only one that thinks Silverbolt's kind of went across the line and just being like, sir, you need to calm down?
I mean, a little bit, yeah.
Alright. Anyway, Transmutate just walks out the base because Rampage phoned them and went, hey, let's talk. And Transmutate went, okay, and left. And then everyone went, where'd they go? And have to go find them, which Silverbolt finds the two of them first and fights Rampage, and then they trade blows and fire until they shoot at each other with missiles and stuff, and then Transmutate tries to stop the missiles with their power, but that ends up killing them. So they die, and Rampage and Silverbolt are sad about it, and when Primal and Cheetor show up and they try to attack Rampage, Silverbolt's like, no, we both lost a friend today. Let this be the end of it for today. And that's the end of the episode. I don't know what to think of this episode.
Same.
Like I feel like this is supposed to be an allegory for something, but I'm like, this feels very badly done.
It almost feels like it's a obligatory episode kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like they kind of had to do something of this nature, and this was the only thing they could come up with.
Yeah. I just find the episode odd, and Transmutate odd as a concept. But yeah, anyway, Code of Hero, the better episode of these two, by a mile. It's really good.
Yeah.
Like, fucking hell, Dinobot gets his fucking big hero moment. Like, his speech before he goes in is just like, damn, you know you're dying, but you're gonna go out swinging. Like, there's a reason I think of the Beast Wars cast, because Transformers has a Hall of Fame that they vote in characters, voice actors, and other like production or other like people from behind the scenes. I think Dinobot was the first Beast Wars cast member to be voted in. Of what was prominently a G1 cast. Like, mostly the inductees in the Hall of Fame were G1 characters. Dinobot was the first Beast Wars character to be voted in, I believe. It was either him or Waspinator, I don't remember which. You can see why.
Boy, we have both ends of that spectrum.
Uh-huh. But yeah, like, fuck, this episode's really good. It's like if you ever wanted a really good like Dinobot episode, this is it. Unfortunately, it's his last episode. Technically. I'm gonna put a it's once more one of those. Tune in to season 3 as we get there, because we'll get there. Because yeah, if you know your Beast Wars, you know why I say technically. But yeah, it's just a really good episode for Dinobot, a really good farewell episode for him, and a really nice culmination of his character arc for the entirety of season 2. Unfortunately, it will not be the end of our time travel shenanigans, because that's what happens next week. Because if you think Megatron maybe went a little crazy with his plan this week with, killing humanity before it could, like, prosper, about that. Yeah. But that is next week with the 3-part finale of season 2, and then the first episode of season 3, which is more or less part 4 of the finale. Because, yeah, how do you like your season finale cliffhangers?
I mean, about as much as I like the fact that you get how many in this show so far?
Enough.
Yeah.
But any other thoughts on these episodes?
No.
Alright, then Thursday is more Infinite Fusion as we try to get to Erica. I don't know how long it will take us to get to Erica and through Erica, but we'll get to Celadon City, most likely. Friday will be us doing the first DLC for Spider-Man. Saturday will be a multiplayer thing, probably a KH2 rando seed.
I'm thinking yes.
Yeah. And Sunday will be us talking end of season 2, start of season 3 of Beast Wars. So if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chipping away at that affiliate goal. Add to soon on Twitter. Gets you updates when we're live. An exclamation point, Discord and chat. Get your Discord link. Drop by. Say hi. We will see you Thursday.